Oh, I love what Danielle had to say, and I think it goes in so well with our next guest. Many of you are familiar with our next guest. She is the associate producer of our First People's Voices segment right here on the show, and the host of a brand new show called Across the Land. Hey, Crystal.
Hey, Maggie.
So tell me about Across the Land. This is exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. 6-part series that we did in 5 weeks. 2 of those weeks I was gone this summer.
Yeah.
But we traveled a lot. We went to Batoche National Historic Site, Riding on Stone Provincial Park, which is southern Alberta. Crawford Lake, we were over in Vancouver at Stanley Park. We had co-host Barry Mitzwing-Chalifo and then Terrence Crosschild. We had a blast, and I think the final product is something that everybody will want to watch.
Okay, where can people watch it?
On Castle.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you go to Castle, you can search for Across the Land, and you'll see all the First People's Voices stories pieced together with a host-driven show. We have fun, we have a little bit of education, just great. The landscape is stunning, the camera views are gorgeous. You just have to watch it.
That's awesome. We're very excited. So Castle is our streaming service if you're not familiar with it, so you can go to their coordinates will be at the bottom of the screen. You can check that out. Okay, you also have been traveling with Waskaganish.
Yeah, no, we're planning.
You're planning to go to Waskaganish.
Well, actually last summer we went to Waskaganish.
Okay.
So it's a 17-hour drive north.
Wow.
So Bev, myself, and then
Bev
one of
Hadland is our
outreach ambassador to the First Peoples, and then our good friend Rebecca Jean Cowboy. So she's actually from Waskaganish. So she took us up there. She showed us the land. We sat with, the intention was to go with a small camera and just see if anyone would share their stories, residential school survivors.
Okay.
And what ended up happening is 9 people opened up their hearts to us to relive what happened to them in the schools, and then we were shocked. We were floored because after this one guy had told us everything that happened to him, abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, I asked him, what would you tell people who don't get what a residential school was? And he said, he paused for a long time and he said, it's good that you didn't have to go. And so we're just capturing this heartbeat all across the land. That's First Peoples, Indigenous people.
And we'll be seeing that here on 100 Street in the weeks to come. What is that like for you, Crystal, as a Métis woman, when you get to hear these stories? Because, you know, as a producer, you kind of want to have a bit of a wall, like, because you need to be able to just ask the questions. But it's hard to keep that wall up when you hear somebody recount horrific stories like that.
And, you know, Indigenous people, we are heart people. We speak heart language. And so when somebody is opening up their heart, you can't shut yourself off. So I find a lot of the times I take in, probably to a degree that I shouldn't, but I take in reliving their memories and putting myself in that situation. And also too, putting myself, looking at somebody else who might be in that situation and saying, okay, the missing element is hope. The missing element was love. The missing element was acceptance. And if we can go with that message when we're on the road with First Peoples, you know, if we can go with that message, Bev and I often travel together, but it's that game changer that you are loved, you are wanted, and you're accepted by God.
You have such a privilege of telling those stories. Okay, youth mentorship, I know, is really a big thing on your heart as well. Tell us about what you've been doing there.
I know, this is what, I burn for this.
Yeah.
So we take young people in the communities that we meet. So Bev and I have Crossroads has personally connected with 91 Indigenous communities across Canada. 54 of those communities we've actually visited and have built relationship with. And so when we go into these communities, oftentimes we're surrounded by kids and youth, and we say, hey, you should come to the media mentorship program, scholarship program that we started in honor of David Maines and Bill Prankard. And so these youth, they come out of their reserve, come to the big city of Toronto, land in the airport, you know, everything is huge and big and loud, and we bring them into the studio here for a week, and they just get a different perspective on what life can be like. So for example, our mentorship students back at the beginning of the year, they came from Musqueam Reserve, which is just south of Edmonton, and kind of isolated, remote, but a lot of them, they said to us after the week being here, they said that they wanted to finish their school because they had something to live for. They had a vision for their life.
Okay, we only have a couple of minutes left, but I want to get to Project Hope, Thunder Bay, go.
Project Hope, Maggie, you were there 2 years ago
Yes.
with Crossroads, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So province-wide youth retreat weekend with First Nation youth. They come from all over, 10 hours north of Saskatoon, I should say. So our team, our I'm Compelled team, will be taking 10 young people who are passionate about making a difference and loving on these kids. And they're just going to go and serve their guts out, love their guts out, pray their guts out. So we get to do that at the end of September. But it's a good partnership that we have. They know Crossroads donates resources, material, and the end result is people feel they feel that the church cares about them, and they know that the church cares about them because of us.
Oh, so good. Thank you so much, Crystal. If people want to find out more about First People's Voices, what's the website?
firstpeoplesvoices.ca.
Okay, and thank you so much to those of you who give faithfully to Crossroads time and time again. It makes these things happen so that Crystal and Bev, our representative as well, are able to visit these reserves and make sure that they also hear messages of hope and that we get to bring back these incredible stories and share them with you. There's so much more 100 Huntley Street to come. Stay with us.